Welcome to Apple Valley, the town with a long and rich history, but no apples. There are many historic locations in Apple Valley, such as the Apple Valley Inn, the Westland and Rogers Home, and our 24-foot-tall Trigger Horse statue. Although it may be hidden, there is another historic location that no other city or town has to offer. This shop is Perks Coffee House. Here's our story. To start, just tell us about yourself so we know who you are.
Do I look in camera for that part?
Huh?
You pointed at the camera.
Oh,
Do I look
sorry.
at? Okay.
Well, I meant the people watching.
My name is Ruth. I have worked at Perks Coffee House. I'm going on 8 years in June. Well, I started working here when I was 16. It was my first job ever. I was absolutely terrified. I learned a lot about myself when I took the manager role. It definitely seems easier than it is. It is very time consuming, but it's a lot of fun. And if you can balance your schedule properly and stay on top of things, it's a really cool job.
Hi, welcome.
Hello. Hello, my name is Carissa. I have been working at Perks Coffee House since May of 2022. I have been here for a total of 9 months. I also go to cosmetology school full-time.
My name is Alessandra Reeder. I am the social media manager at Perks Coffee House. I've been working at Perks for 2 years now. I am in charge of the website, the TikTok account, the Instagram account, and the Facebook account. I'm also in charge of managing DoorDash and Grubhub menus.
My name is Aubrey. I'm a barista at Perks Coffee House. I've been working there for a little over a year now. I started last November. It's my second job ever. First barista position.
My name is Zoe Mocavero. I'm a barista at Perks Coffee House, and this March will be 9 months for me. So less than a year. Perks is my first job. Nope, that's such a lie. Perks is my second job, but love it just as much. Some of my favorite things about Perks Coffee House is the customers and all of the old customers we used to get who used to come when we first opened, and they remember how it was back then and tell us stories about it. So it's we get a little piece of the past Perks in the present. One of my favorite things about Perks is probably the Perks staff, because I love them all. They're honestly great people, and I've gotten really close to some of them. And it's so nice to work as a team with people who you love.
Definitely the people. I feel the customer base is a lot of the same people every day. It's a lot of regulars, and if you work the same shifts, you kind of get to know the same type of people, and I've made a lot of friends just from working every day, and I think that's really, really epic.
I would have to say probably the few things that I love about Perks. Well, the few things that I love about Perks. I don't love Perks. The things that I love the most would probably be making drinks with the other baristas, coming up with new flavors and new specials, and just being able to decorate the shop for every special occasion, and just making sure that the shop is in its cutest form. Everybody loves taking photos there, and then seeing what photos our customers do take and tag the Instagram page on. That is probably my favorite, because even though that I'm not at the shop all the time, I do get to have that little insight that not every barista gets to see, which is really cool and fun.
One of my best memories at Perks was recently when the Super Bowl was on. Me and my coworker Taylor were working, and there was nobody here, thankfully. So as we were sweeping and mopping, we got to watch Rihanna perform the halftime Super Bowl on volume all the way up. It was great.
Right after I started working there, and it was at the Christmas party, and we were playing spoons. Ruthie, our manager, was pregnant at the time, and she was really competitive. It was getting very intense, and it was her and one other coworker left, and they were both very into the game, and she tried to steal the last spoon and then got way too excited about it and tipped backwards in her chair. It was really, we were all is she okay? But in the end, it was very funny because she was totally fine, and then she just looked silly because she totally fell over on her own. And it was just really silly.
I feel like the funny things never happen to me, all the disasters happen to me. I have come in and it has, like, we've had our ice machine, the line snapped and it was a lake, but the floor isn't even, so it puddles. So I always, like, when I call our guy who fixes all of our, like, refrigerators and ice machines and stuff, I'm like, hey, so I'm currently standing in a lake in the middle of my shop. I feel like the funny things happen to everyone else.
So one time I was working with my coworker Aubrey, and I get a phone call from someone and they were like, hey, could I please get an order of 10 Seattle freezes, 10 small Seattle freezes? And I was like, okay, great. I thought he said 2. We got it. And he was like, okay, great. I'll be there around like 7:50 if that's okay. And we're like, yeah, of course, we'll have it ready for you. No worries. Tell him the total. He comes in, he's like, hey, I'm here for the 10 Seattle freezes. 10 Seattle freezes, 10? I panicked. I was like, oh, I am so sorry. We will get those right out for you. And he was so nice, and I felt so bad, but he was like, yeah, of course, no worries. So me and Aubrey, we made 8 Seattle freezes in 5 minutes. It was insane.
On the day-to-day, like, the amount of things we spill, and it's always a fun little time when ice cream is just flying all over the place and I have a bunch of random stains on me, like blenders and cups break, and it's just, the pictures are always very funny to take, but the cleanup is not fun.
My favorite drink will have to be blackberry mango black tea. I love that drink so much. It is just...
My favorite drink will be the blackberry black and green tea. It is delicious. 10 out of 10.
And I also am in love with our chais with oat milk, and you add cinnamon on top. And if you make cold foam with it, it's just like literally so amazing.
My favorite drink is an iced chai latte with strawberry and oat milk.
I also like to make peppermint hot cocos.
Oh, that's such a hard question. I would probably say a vanilla hazelnut iced coffee with oat milk. The oat milk's the important part.
Oh, I don't actually like a lot of sugary drinks. I have come to love coffee. When I started college, I had to rely on coffee, so I learned to like it, and now I love it. But I like a super simple salted caramel iced coffee. I drink that every day, and I have for several years, and I don't think I'll be changing that anytime soon.
I know that Perks Coffee House was established in 1998.
We are going on 25 years this spring. We will have our 25th anniversary. Our owner, Tammy, started this shop.
In Santa Monica, everywhere you went, there was a small cafe just around the corner. Our owner, Tammy, found herself in a bit of a culture shock when she came to the high desert.
Tammy really wanted to create like a local small coffee shop feel to the area of Apple Valley that we're located in.
And back then, the best cup of coffee you could get was from a gas station with a little push button, and it said cappuccino, and it was just like flavored drip coffee.
She made it her mission to create a place that you could have a bit of the Bay Area at your fingertips with a refreshing drink.
And she wanted something where she could just pour her heart and soul into it. So she saw an area in the town that she could open something up, and I mean, a coffee shop you really need to put a lot into for it to succeed, and she needed something to take her mind off of her personal life, and so this is where Perks started. It was the first coffee shop up here, and then she, as other coffee shops came in, she just made really good relationships with the smaller shops, and they all would get together and like powwow with each other to keep themselves in business and keep Starbucks out. So we've been in this building for, I think 15 years will be this year. And we were literally 2 parking lots down when we opened. So we've only ever been in 2 buildings.
We're a little bit down Highway 18. The old store used to have a top story loft, which was really cool. So you used to be able to go upstairs and hang out and do your thing. But now we have an outside patio with the mural in the back, which is really cool.
So the Seattle Freeze actually originated at another coffee shop called Higher Grounds. They were over in Hesperia, but it was just this sweet little family. It was a husband and wife, and then as their son was old enough to work, he started working there. And he would just experiment with everything. So he would mix things up and try to make something good, and he had a lot of failures. But the Seattle Freeze, the chocolate, is what makes it special. It is a very special chocolate, and he perfected it. It was a super popular drink at their shop. She reached out to the local shops in town to see if it was something they wanted to purchase from her.
Our owner created a way for Betty to continue making money by starting a contract to lease the drink and chocolate from her, since the chocolate is homemade.
The owner of that coffee shop is the same lady that we get our special Seattle chocolate from.
And the Seattle Freeze chocolate is really what makes the drink.
We have been buying the chocolate from the same Betty Claire.
Betty makes the chocolate herself. We don't know how she makes it. We don't know what goes into it. It's really a mystery, but that's what makes it so special, because it's delicious.
And she still makes it for us, and it is by far our most popular drink.
We carry on kind of her legacy.
To this day, Betty and Perks Coffee House continue to work together to bring a hometown favorite to be readily available, known as the Seattle Freeze.
And I think that is so awesome. It's like the OG. We have the real deal here.
How do you make a Seattle Freeze?
I can't tell you that. Then you'll stop coming here.
We have a blender, and we take ice cream,
Espresso
Oh, and then our special chocolate sauce.
from Betty.
and you cannot forget the whipped cream, chocolate, and cinnamon on top.
Okay, so when I started working here, I hated coffee. I was forced to try the Seattle Freeze, and despite the fact that it had chocolate and ice cream and was very sugary, I like spit it out, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that just tastes like I'm like drinking black coffee. That's so gross. And then I started working here in the summer, which is our peak time for selling Seattle Freezes. So I would go home covered in ice cream, in chocolate. I would smell like it. So going from someone who hated coffee made it a little bit worse. Like, we would get so busy, we would get orders of like 20, 30 Seattle Freezes at once. It just like put a standstill on it.
I think one of the rituals here at Perks Coffee House is spilling a large Seattle Freeze all over the place. It is 100% something that happens to every single person that works here, but it's okay, because that's how you know you're a part of the crew.
The worst time was one time I had like a full pitcher in my hand in the middle of a rush, and I was walking, and I don't know what I did, but it dropped and it fell to the ground, and then like gravity came, and it was just my hair, my eyeballs, it got in my contacts, like I had to take out my contacts. It was not a fun day that day. But I haven't had that issue as badly since.
Obviously, Perks Coffee House has developed since our opening 25 years ago.
So I've been going to Perks as a customer since like I was a little girl. I remember when we had like our little checkerboard, and I remember when Perks would have like monthly themes and stuff, and like it's definitely, you can definitely see the different eras of Perks, and I think that's really cool because it grows, but it's also like the same familiar place we all know and love. Perks Coffee House is renovated.
As of, well, technically this morning at 5:30 a.m.
And it looks gorgeous.
Just little things like a new paint job,
All the same color palette.
well, our roof is white. Our fireplace is painted now. We have a new like menu. The menu is still the same, but like it just looks different, and hopefully it's less confusing.
And a cutesy little barn door. Everything is so awesome. It looks so good.
It's all spiffy now.
It was a long time coming, but we had a lot that we wanted to accomplish, and we didn't want to just like slowly do it over time. We wanted to close for a day, say we're doing maintenance. Oh, you know, maybe people will think our water heater went out, or you know, maybe something's wrong with the electricity or something. And then they come in to get their cup of coffee on Tuesday, and bam, it looks totally different. And that is definitely the reaction we have gotten from our customers today, and it's been really exciting.
All the regulars that come in, I just see their faces and they're like, whoa.
So if you haven't seen the shop after its redecoration, you should definitely stop by.
I feel as Perks brings a sense of community to the high desert because it's just a place where you can come in and if you ever need help like finding a drink that you'll love, our baristas are always there to help you find what you'll like and always willing to try and experiment with you. And you can just hang out, sit back, watch some TV, go outside, sit on our lovely patio with our beautiful fountain, take some photos with your friends, and it's just a positive environment.
In all of my interviews, I always tell people you have to be good with faces and names because about 80% of our customers are regulars, and not just, oh, they'll come like once a week or maybe like once every couple weeks. They will come multiple times a week. They usually will get the same thing, and they love coming in and talking to people. They want to know like what's going on in your life. Like when I was in high school, they would ask me like, oh, what are your plans for after high school? I had some people that were like, oh, well, if you need help with college applications, I know someone who can help you. Like, you really get to know your customers here. We have a dance studio right next door to us. Working here for 8 years, I've seen a lot of the girls go from like preteens to, you know, high school seniors.
This is my 15th year dancing there. This is my 2nd year teaching. So I've been there for a while, and I've been next door to Perks for a while. And I think it's really fun to see all the little dance girls come in.
And the girls, like in between classes, will come in and get their little drinks and hang out and socialize.
It's really full circle for me because when I was their age, that was me. I would go next door and I would get peach green teas and bagels with my friends in between classes. And so to like be the person who's there for them, really, it's like, I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it. It's like nostalgic in a sense, but it's really fun and I love it.
I think this really ties into what I said about having past customers, because it's nice when you have a lot of people from the past coming in and tying you like to the present and the past, and it's just really nice like having old faces, familiar faces coming in and recognizing, you know, the Perks Coffee House logos, the Seattle Freezes from way back then. It's really nice. I feel like everybody meets up here. You'll see a lot of groups here, a lot of meetings here, and it's really nice.
There's so much history behind the shop as a whole, and being able to be like in the heart of Apple Valley, so close to the town and right across the street from St. Mary's. We have discounts for them, and for anybody like working like in fire, ambulance, because the fire station is right down the street. And it's just such a fun community that you build around just a small little coffee shop.
I love it because we're such a small shop that we don't have a drive-through. So it's not just a quick, oh, let me get a coffee and go. Like, there is always a connection when you come in.
What makes Perks different from most coffee spots is, I'm going to say, our bakery items and our paninis, because we have a couple panini masters that work here. She is professional panini maker. She knows how to melt that cheese good, and they're all handmade. All handmade.
Thank you for the shameless plug.
I really think it has to do with our sense of community. I'm not gonna lie, I have gone to other coffee shops in town kind of to scope out the competition. And something I've noticed is it's get the drink to the person's hand and get them out of there. Which is like, yes, it's important to us. It's one of my highest priorities. I don't want you waiting around for your drink, but we also want you to feel welcome. We want you to know that if you come back, we'll remember you. Like, I have customers from 4 years ago that come in maybe once a month that I can still remember their names, and I think that makes us stand out because a lot of times we live in such a fast-paced world that people aren't taking the time to get to know their customers.
So we have our loyalty system, which consists of a point per drink system. So every time you order a drink, doesn't matter what size, we will add a point to your account if you remind the barista of your last name. And once you reach 10 points, then you receive a free drink. It's just super fun being able to give them a little something back in return as a way to brighten their day as they brighten ours every single day. Is just so rewarding.
When I took on the manager position, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and so it was a hard transition to figure out how to start like keeping our staff and our customers safe. For a long time, we could only do, like, you had to come in, get your drink and go.
Well, when I first started working there, COVID was still kind of taking, like people weren't out and about as much as they are now. And so my first 5 months of working there, it was just so slow, and I definitely, yeah.
That was really sad for me because I loved talking to people and getting to know them. And so having to make it so quick was kind of sad. But it was a lot more than I anticipated. I think everyone is well aware of how difficult it was to get the most random thing during the pandemic. It was a very challenging time, I think, to go into management, but I also think that helped me become a better manager, and it helped me diversify my resources, because I found lots of different stores that I can go to before I say, okay, I am actually out. The high desert has no more ice cream.
I think the community is what makes Perks different, because yeah, just everybody's so close and connected, and no matter who it is coming in or who's working, there's always, I feel like there's always friends, and even if you don't really know each other, it's you are friends. Everyone's just familiar and comfortable, and it's really nice.
We remember you by your name and your face, and we're willing to sit there and help you decide what drink you like. Our menu can be super confusing sometimes. We're willing to sit there and talk to you and figure out exactly what you like to help you create that perfect order, which is really, honestly, super nice, because I know a lot of coffee shops don't do that. And there's always a welcoming face. Everyone's so sweet and ready to help you in any way possible.
Perks will always be there, and I feel like the people of Apple Valley, they know that that's a place that they can go to just relax, wind down, see familiar faces, know that we make their drinks full of love, and just know that they have a place to go to. And especially as a customer who's been there for so long, to finally be able to work and see that side of it, I'm so glad to be able to contribute to that warm feeling that I got every time I would go.
To a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's just a coffee shop. And for past employees, I'm sure it was just a job, just a coffee shop to them. But being here for 8 years, it has become a huge part of my life. I don't know how or if I could ever leave this place. Our owner, Tammy, has become a second mother to me. And so there's a very close relationship there, and this is just something that brings me so much joy. And it's especially now, it looks so cool. I think it's a really cool place to visit, and you should come. I guess I'll make you a Seattle freeze, but salted caramel iced coffee is also really good.